Hello my dears, and welcome back to my corner of the internet. I'm Shannon, and today we are delving into the paranormal, the unexplained, the spooky, and I can't wait. If you've been watching my last few videos, you know this has really been something I've been wanting to dive into. Paranormal videos slash true crime, although with a bit of emphasis on the paranormal, because that's what I really enjoy that and have fun with things like that. So to get us started, I thought the first video that I would do, I would kind of tackle the ghosts that are close to home. And today I'm going to be telling you about 4 exceptionally haunted locations in the province that I currently live in, and that is Alberta. I had a lot of fun doing the research for these 4 different spots that I'm going to tell you about today. And it was interesting because while I was doing the research, I learned that I've actually been to one of these locations. And when I was there, I had heard about all the, kind of spooky things that went on, but I didn't really put too much into it at the time. Spent a lot of time there for one, but I just didn't realize. And so when I was doing this research, this location kept coming up again and again and again. And yeah, it was very interesting to learn more about it. Now, the first place that we're going to talk about is the one that I find the most interesting. We're going to start off real strong right now. And this is a place that I've long wanted to visit. Now, it's in a town called Banff, which is here in Alberta. It's, it's kind of a popular town, a tourist destination, if you will. And even if you live down in America, maybe you've heard of it. There's a lot of world-class skiing that happens there. It's just a real prime destination if you are into that kind of thing. And 2 of these locations are actually in Banff, which is so interesting. But anyway, yes, I have long wanted to stay at the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel. As you can see here, it even looks ominous and spooky. It kind of reminds me quite a bit of the Overlook Hotel from the Stephen King book and movie, The Shining. It's got that very larger-than-life presence that just reminds me of it, and where it's kind of nestled away in the forest. It's beautiful. It's absolutely stunning. At this point, it's actually a National Historic Site in Canada, and you can still stay at the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel. And the staff really plays up the hauntings that happen there. And it's just a really well-known spot for paranormal activity. And there are 2 ghosts that I keep hearing about the most when I was doing my research and that I've heard about for years. And the first one, and perhaps the most interesting of the 2 in terms of tragic stories, is the Bride. Legend has it that in the 1800s, the early 1800s I believe, there was going to be a wedding at the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel. And the woman who was the bride, she was walking down the marble staircase and something startled her. And who knows, maybe even back then it was haunted and that's what startled her. But something startled her when she was walking down the staircase and she fell and she died. And now there are many, many accounts of people seeing what looked to be an apparition of a bride. She can be seen walking up and down the stairs. She can also be seen sometimes dancing in the ballroom in the upstairs of the hotel. And, it's just one of those stories. And there's just something about hotels, isn't there, that's just innately creepy. Anytime I stay at a hotel, if it's late and nighttime and I'm walking down the hallways, or at least for me, I just get filled with a feeling of dread. Because with so many rooms, who knows what kind of crazy things have happened in those rooms in any given hotel. So there's just something that lends itself to being so creepy. And just the long uniform hallways with the carpets, and it's a lot. It's spooky. And you just often get that feeling of, when you're in a hotel, who has checked in but has never checked out. 1, 2, 3. The other spirit in the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel is Sam the Bellman. And rumor has it that he was an old Scotsman who died in, I believe, the mid-70s, 1970s. And he's kind of seen within the hotel as a very helpful spirit, you know, a light, warm-hearted spirit. And he is most often able to be seen in the room that used to be his old office when he worked there. So that's kind of, you know, with the bride, such a tragic story. Sam the Bellman, it's a little more of a lighter story. There's also, now I'm sure if you dig deep enough, you can find out which rooms at the Fairmont are haunted, but as a rule, the hotel doesn't like to tell people which rooms are haunted. But for the rooms that are haunted, there have been rumors that when people are sleeping in there, pillows get yanked out from under their head while they're sleeping. There have been reports of people getting pushed off of beds while they were sleeping. And yeah, there's some, you know, some really rich history in that hotel, and it lends itself to a lot of crazy things happening. So that is the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel. The second location we're going to talk about today is actually also a hotel, but it's a much smaller hotel. And this is the Rose Deer Hotel in the town of Wayne, Alberta, obviously. And this is the one that I've been to. I used to live in Drumheller for a little while, not too long, but Drumheller is kind of the dinosaur capital of Canada, maybe North America, I don't know, but they have a big museum there that's dedicated to dinosaurs called the Royal Tyrrell Museum. It draws people from all around the world, people who are interested in paleontology and things like that. And it's down in a valley, and it's kind of got the nickname of Dinosaur Valley. And down in the valley, there's another town called Wayne. So the Rose Deer Hotel in Wayne was opened in 1913. At that time, the town was a pretty lively place. It had a population, because at this point, Wayne is pretty much a ghost town. I think I read the numbers of how many people still live in Wayne varies from website to website, anywhere from 27 to 50. So it's really a ghost town at this point. But back in the early 1900s, it was a really lively place, mainly because Drumheller and the entire valley was really big into coal mining at the time. There was a lot of coal mines. In fact, I bet if I do some research down the road about maybe any of the paranormal stories related to the coal mines down in the valley, I bet we'd find some stuff there too. But anyway, so this hotel, the Rose Deer Hotel, was attached to a saloon called the Last Chance Saloon. And the thing about Drumheller and Wayne and the Dinosaur Valley is that it's very much the Badlands of Canada. You know, it's very desert-like, the landscape and the climate. And so the Last Chance Saloon, that's just the perfect name for such a place. And that's actually where I was, in the Last Chance Saloon. I had a friend that lived in Wayne. I went to visit her and spent the night, and we went to this place. And it was very interesting, and you can see that it's just rich with history from back in sort of the Wild West days. And even in the walls, you can see bullet holes where there would have been like duels and just people fighting. And the owners of the place, you know, have really kept that history intact, because it really adds to the character of the place, of course. However, the third floor of the Rose Deer Hotel is closed off. It is just closed off to the public because of all of the paranormal activity that has taken place on that floor. They're not risking it anymore. They don't want anything to do with it. So she's closed off and she's sealed off because there have been so many reports from both staff and guests. Even the owner himself, he says so often when he is, you know, doing his work, doing whatever, out of the corner of his eye, he can see just things flashing by and apparitions. And so that's pretty wild. Next time I'm down that way, I'll do a little vlog and show you some footage of the Rose Deer Hotel. So next up, number 3 is actually a hospital located in Edmonton. Edmonton is very close to where I live. It's only about 2 hours away. And yes, this hospital has a very very interesting history. It's called the Charles Camsell Hospital, and it was originally opened and built in 1967. And it was first built to be mainly a tuberculosis sanatorium for people, and especially Aboriginal and First Nations people. It also had a surgical ward as well as a psychiatric ward. And as you can imagine, from especially like those three things alone, surgical ward, tuberculosis sanatorium, and a psych ward, a lot of probably very interesting, very disturbing things happened in that hospital. Eventually, as the years went on, it was just kind of turned into a regular sort of hospital. But then eventually it was closed down, sealed up, it was done. They were done with it, which is, you know, that's a little crazy when you think, like, it was only built in 1967, which is crazy when you think about, because it was only built in 1967. It's not exactly a really old hospital. But yeah, it was closed down and shut down, and they were done with it because of so much weird things happening in the hospital. And to this day, there's a lot of rumors that when people are walking outside of the hospital, say at night, if they're just walking past it, they're filled with a just awful feeling of unease. And again, legend has it that if you're walking by at the right time or the wrong time, you can actually hear people screaming. And where the screams seem to be coming from is the now defunct, of course, 4th floor, which was the psychiatric ward. Legend also has it that an apparition can be seen, and that's of a teenage girl, and she has pulled all of her fingernails off, and she's just walking around in agony with the fingernails gone. So that is super spooky. There's just something, again, so hotels lend themselves to that really spookiness, but so do hospitals maybe even more so. And just the thought of an abandoned hospital gives me chills. Just gives me chills. Because even I remember back when I lived in Newfoundland, there was a hospital there called the Janeway, and it was a children's hospital. And it was a lovely, wonderful hospital. Anyway, since I've grown up and moved away, that hospital has closed down, and a children's wing has been built onto a more like a newer hospital. And I saw photos from the Janeway after everything had been removed, and it looked horrifying. Even though hopefully nothing too terrifying has happened in there. But, you know, even if nothing bad has happened in these places, you know, especially in a hospital, lives have been lost there. Hundreds, thousands, especially in these older hospitals. People have just died there, and, you know, the residue of those spirits, sometimes it just lingers. Anyway, you guys, the final haunted spot in Alberta that I wanted to talk about today. Now, these, of course, aren't the only 4 haunted locations in Alberta. There are tons, but we're just going to be talking about these 4 today, because these 4 are the ones that pique my interest the most. Anyway, this 4th one is also located in Banff, and this is Lake Minnewanka. I hope I'm saying that right. Anyway, it's a beautiful looking lake in Banff, and the rumors have it for this lake that there's two main ones that I've read that I find really, really interesting. Number one is there have been so many reports of the ghost of a First Nations warrior, and he can be seen just kind of wandering the edge of the lake. People surmise that perhaps he's looking for the skulls left over after there was a massive battle between 2 separate tribes. And there's just something so beautiful about that. Just the image of a First Nations warrior walking along the edge of the lake. I don't know. There's just, as creepy as it is, it's also a beautiful image. I don't know. And there is also the belief system that goes around that there is a water spirit in this lake. And the water spirit is half fish, half human, which, you know, it's kind of a mermaid, but it's nothing cute, like a mermaid. And it's just been known to kind of lure and drag people down to their deaths at the bottom of the lake. So there you go, you guys. Those are the 4 locations in Alberta that are very haunted and that have intrigued me very much. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope maybe it made, you know, your skin crawl a little bit to hear these spooky places. Going forward for these videos, I'm going to start kind of deeper diving into different things, unsolved cases, bizarre cases, paranormal cases, things like that. Just all of the things that make you wonder what the hell's going on here. And yeah, if you have any requests for stories you've heard about that you'd like me to do a deeper dive on, you can let me know in the comments down below or send me a message on Instagram or Twitter. Both of my handles, both for Instagram and Twitter, will be in the description box down below. And yeah, I'd be more than happy to look into any story that you'd like. Anyway, so yeah, I'm very excited to kind of kick off this phase of my channel. A lot of my regular content's still gonna be here. We're gonna have tea talks, we're gonna have book talks, we're gonna have the occasional beauty video. I'm really trying to move away from that a little bit, just because I don't know, there's things that interest me more, and I think I have more to offer in other areas. So yeah, let's have some fun and get a little spooked. I will see you guys soon. Bye.